Hello YouTube, welcome to the second part of this beginner's guide. So for this one I want to teach you a little bit about plane performance. We already went over your crew skills and your pilot skills and how it all relates to your planes, but now let's look at the actual information that comes up in this little tab here. And what I want to focus on first is your max speed, which is important, but most importantly of all, when it comes to these reserve aircraft, you want to go for that turn time. That turn time of 14.1 seconds is very good. And let me show you this plane here. This American reserve plane has a turn time of 16.0 seconds. The speed is the same. This one has 377, the other one has 374 kilometers per hour as its top speed. And you think, well, is that a lot, or what's going on? Is there a big difference? And you'll notice once you start playing the game, is if you're one of these, you'll find yourself outturned very readily by biplanes, and that is because biplanes have, well, bi as in two wings, and these wings create more lift and making you much more maneuverable than single-winged aircraft like this. So that's kind of important, especially when you're dogfighting. And let's look at the other point I want to go over later, and that's going to be the rate of climb. So planes that climb very fast, as in the greater the number, and this one's 17 meters per second, it tells you a little bit about the engine power. So if it has a larger number and has a good top speed, that means you have a pretty good engine in that fuselage yours. And let's go look at the American again, and that one has 12 meters per second. So that's a big difference between both planes, and I'll show you in both tests. You'll see why this plane is inferior in its capabilities. Okay, so I think I've made myself clear with this, so let's jump over to the experiment and I'll show you guys the difference between rate of climb and the rate of turn between these two planes and explain it for you. Okay, so in the left hand corner we got the Russian biplane, and on the right hand side we got the American single wing reserve aircraft. Let's see which one is faster pulling that 360-degree rotation. And they're off. So here we got the Russian plane turning. As you can see, it's immediately apparent that the Russian is faster, and you can see it's conserving its speed really well, and the pea shooter is still trying to turn. Hey, and look, still turning. Now evening it out a little more to the right, and there we go. That's it. As you can see, Russian plane almost 2 times faster. So in a turning war, probably the Russian plane would have the advantage. So if you're in a pea shooter, be careful, because going up against biplanes, you'll probably end up shot up and probably dead. And now let's focus over to our second experiment, which is going to be rate of climb, and let's see how these two planes stack up. So here we go. Remember, this is endurance, so whoever has the best climb will stall out last. So you'll see the critical speed put nose down indication come up. That's going to be whoever gets that first is the loser. So let's get that started, and they're off. Here we go. Look at that biplane straight into the climb like that. Oh, look to the right. I don't know why I did that, but instinct. See, I'm always checking my 6. Here we go. Going on 6 seconds, and look, oh, he loses. And I'll give him a little more just because I wanted him straightened out. There we go. 9:13. That was generous. And look, I can still go. I can still do a little more, and if you notice, the pea shooter stalled at a higher speed of 164 kilometers per hour due to its inferior aerodynamics. As in, having a lighter frame and being a biplane means that you can conserve lift longer. I didn't do it in a 90 degree angle, because you really don't want to climb that unless you have a lot of speed and you're coming out of a dive or something. But for the most part, the times will tell you right here. If you have a pea shooter on your tail and you're in a biplane, you probably want to turn, which is your first defense, and if you can't, because you have a damaged fuselage or something, just hit to the sky, gun your engine, and you might be able to come back down on his 6 when he stalls out before you do. So let's go back to the hangar, and I'll talk a little bit more and then jump into the next section. So guys, hope that was informative, and remember, it's just the basis for discovering what a plane is good for. You need to actually take it for a test flight, or actually go in game for you to figure out all the characteristics of your plane, and probably do a few battles and get shot down a few times. You'll notice maybe this plane is not good against this plane, maybe I can't sit on the tail of bombers because I'm very, very light, and all those things will start coming to you as you progress with each of your planes. But this should give you a foot in the door to discovering the potential strengths and weaknesses of your plane. And for the next segment, we're actually going to go into armament, which is a very, very important factor in how your plane should be used, and we'll get into that later. So until then, this is Hand Grenade,